Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Career Chat. My name is Krista Harmon. I'm a workforce development consultant with the Kent Intermediate School District. And I'm so delighted to have Jeremy Witt with us today. He is a public relations manager. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
So here in our career chats, we love helping young people learn about different careers that are out there. There's so many to choose from, and it can be confusing and hard to navigate. And so as you pull up your slides, just help us think back to when you were 15 or 16. Did you think you'd grow up to be a public relation manager?
When I was 15 or 16, I had no idea what a public relations manager was, what public relations really was. I feel like sometimes people may say the term, oh, that's just PR speak, or, they're just trying to get some positive PR. But I truly think that in high school, I didn't understand what public relations was. And I'll get kind of into my journey of learning more about it and discovering it, which I think has always been an interesting story. But yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do and where it would bring me. So no, I did not know to answer that question.
Well, you do your thing, and then we'll ask questions when you're done. Folks, if you have anything, just put it in the chat and we'll make sure we get Jeremy to answer those for you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So yes, as Krista said, my name is Jeremy Witt. I am a manager of public relations at Lambert's based in Grand Rapids. It is a full service public relations agency, and I've been here coming up on 4 years next month, but it's been quite the journey to really get here, I would say. For me as a professional. And I'm going to go to my next slide and really take you through my journey from high school to me sitting in this chair here today. And I'll warn you before I go to the next slide, I did have to go back and fish out some pictures of me from high school and college. So apologies in advance for what the style was at the time. But here's me, 2012. I graduated from Portage Central High School in Portage, Michigan, about an hour south here from Grand Rapids. At the time, I wanted to go into music production. I wanted to make music. I wanted to promote artists. That's what I wanted to do. And I asked my parents, I said, can I go to Columbia College in Chicago? And they took me down there to take a tour, and I just don't think I really knew what I wanted to do. And my parents saw how expensive it was to go there. And they're like, hey, maybe you go to Grand Valley, do some prerequisites, kind of think through some of this stuff. And so I did that. I went to Grand Valley with the intention to move to Chicago at some point. I did not do that. I really fell in love with Grand Valley as a campus and and finding the programs. And that's me, that picture middle left of with the mascot. That was me like the first week of school, I believe. Again, the person that you're seeing here on the left side, these two photos, is someone who didn't really know what they wanted to do, didn't know what public relations was. But I remember being in in a class my freshman year of college, and we were going around the room, and everyone, actually, let me take a step back, because I talked a little bit about how I wanted to do promotion for music artists. I wanted to do promotion for events and things. And I throw this word promotion around, and I went to my counselor and I said in college, and I described this job. I was like, I want to promote people. I want to get people in the news. I want to tell people stories and do all of these things. And my advisor, my counselor at the time, looked at me and I was really looking for them to help me identify a major. And what they said is, they're like, I don't know anything that fits that. So I really left that meeting trying to figure out what this was, what this idea I was thinking of was with my job that I wanted, my career. And I think this was shortly thereafter. I went to a class and we were going around the room. Everyone was saying, introduce yourself, say your name, and say your major. And I spent a semester saying, I'm undecided. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. And then interestingly enough, the the girl that went before me in the lineup on the table, she said, my name is so-and-so. And she's like, and I'm majoring in public relations. And that, when she said that, it clicked. I was like, that's the term, that's the phrase I've heard before. I'm putting it together. I heard this person just say this. They're like, next, Jeremy, how about you introduce yourself? And I said, my name is Jeremy Witt, and I'm also going to be majoring in public relations. And that was just this moment where I had never thought about this before. And in that moment, I figured out what it was. And this person, who I don't know actually, but I just kind of copied her major in a sense, but this really was aligning with everything that I was thinking. So I studied advertising public relations, and I mentioned classics here. I had a second major in classics, which is Greek and Roman mythology and Latin and ancient architecture and things. Kind of an interesting, different thing to do at the same time. A lot of work, I will say. I don't use that as often as I use the public relations and advertising side, I will say that. But still something interesting I got the chance to do. So I went to Grand Valley 2012 to 2016, graduated. And during that time, I interned at a travel and tourism organization promoting everything from restaurants, attractions, resorts, hotels, just, you know, all these different travel things. And being able to promote things like Boyne Mountain, you know, skiing and golf and museums, and talking about a lot of these things. And that was cool. But at the same time, I found myself honestly really, you know, year after year talking about the same things, and kind of getting a little bored, I guess is the word I will say, of talking about the same things while really not going and doing these things. Like I may be writing about snowboarding and skiing, but I'm sitting at my house writing it on a computer. And so I really took some time to about 6 months to really try to figure it out a little bit. You know, I talked to some other places of employment and looked at other industries. I remember just talking to a lot of different companies, and really when I started talking to Lambert, which is where I work and started working in October 2019, I realized that it was a really good fit for me. I talk about the idea that I got kind of bored at my last job doing the same thing. Agencies are very different. They're not boring. So just to give you some background on how agencies work, marketing agencies in particular, which is where I work, we have different clients. So different companies will reach out to us, say, hey, we need help with this thing, or we need help with all these things, multiple things, one thing, several things. And so we'll put together little teams within our team of 100 people, and we will help them out. I'll kind of get into what we do exactly, but you know, that's what I was looking for. Is I wanted to do a lot of different things for a lot of different companies, work with different people, do different things every day. And I get to do that every single day here. There's no day that's the same for me. And so I kind of touch on it here as well. Oh, that's a picture of me eating ice cream or something with some of my colleagues, which I think that's one of my favorite things, is just the people I get to work with. I get to really do creative, fun things with my friends every day. And I think that's super awesome and really keeps me going. But so over the last 4 years, I've worked my way up to a senior associate and a manager here at Lambert. And you know, one of my favorite things is just like all the cool things I get to do. I'm better today than I was 3 years ago, 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago. Just like that continuous improvement and continuous growth is really what I look for here, and I really enjoy. So I just want to talk a little bit about, you know, I kind of went over this a little bit, but this is how I would describe Lambert to you all, is that Lambert is a helper for companies. We're here to help companies, businesses, make them look good, help them get people to come spend money with them and give them money, and help advertise. I think that, you know, when you're on your phone and you get an ad on TikTok, you know, we help companies make those videos. We help companies make billboards and TV ads and really all of that. So we help them plan. We work with the news and the media. So when you see, you know, big companies in the media, it's because someone's asking the media, hey, would you like to cover this story? We've got this awesome new product, something like that. And we give great advice. So these companies are looking to us to say, we want to do X, Y, and Z. How can we do that? And so we provide that advice to the different companies. I wanted to touch on this because I think it's super cool. We have global reach. So we are part of the PROI network, which is Public Relations Organizations International. There are public relations firms across the country and around the world. This is really an industry where you can go anywhere. Every company needs public relations in some form or fashion. And I think that that's what makes it such an interesting career is, if I wanted to go work in the music industry, as I thought about in high school, this is something that I could go do right now with the skills that I have. I could also then go work at, like a McDonald's PR, or like some of these big companies, they all need PR, and these are very transferable skills, or skills that you can take from one place to another. And I think that that's super cool. So we work with organizations around the world as clients, but we also work with other public relations firms, which I think is super cool. And we actually do like an exchange program where sometimes we'll send someone from Lambert over to another PR firm in another country, and that's super cool that we get to do that. Here are some of the key places, key kinds of clients that we work with. We work with cars, car companies. We work with schools and nonprofits. We work with consumer brands. I think that that's a super exciting one. We work with healthcare organizations and healthcare startups. So the folks that are putting, building things within hospitals and building, creating the different equipment that folks use. And then we're working with publicly traded companies. So you may have heard of the stock exchange. So trying to help companies keep their stocks up and make money. This is a big list. I'm not going to go through all this, but this just kind of gives you an idea of the wide range of cool things that we get to do. On the left here is this picture of a photo shoot that we were doing with Moose Tracks ice cream. So we take photos of ice cream, and they use those on their website and social. But you can see, we do a lot of video, photography, graphic design, website development, branding. It's really everything that we get to do. So this kind of, this slide's not designed for you to look at every single thing, but just kind of give you an idea that we do a lot. And I want to just show some other really cool work that we've gotten to do. Here on the left is one of our photographers. His name's Gabe. We worked with a luxury watch brand. So we were doing a photo shoot with these watches. We work with the Michigan Panthers to do photo and video. So this is my friend Michael here, who's filming at Ford Field. So that's super cool. And then this one over here is another product photo shoot. You can see we've got kind of the green screen here, and we were taking photos for a new, it's not available yet, but it will be soon, a new it's cauliflower and broccoli based, like little puff things, like a healthy snack. And I got to try them the other day. I like them a lot. They're really good. We're doing another photo shoot for them on Monday, but these are just some of the really cool visual things that we get to do. We get to go capture and then really use this content to tell a story. How can we put this out on social media? How can we use this to share with the news or newspapers to get it published there, or use as content for advertisements? So that's just some of the really cool work that we get to do, and really a high level overview of me and my story. And that really concludes some of the slides I wanted to talk about here. But Krista, I'm happy to answer any questions and have a conversation.
Thank you, Jeremy. And I absolutely loved that you put those together for us. That gave us such a good visual. So I will take you back a little bit, because I have several questions I want to help follow up, and especially with the 16-year-old in mind. So looking back, a lot of young people I meet are interested in music and, that whole field. And so I want to just point out the fact, because you mentioned you love people and creativity. So you're a creative, right? I mean, that's something that I wanted to point out, that people who are creative sometimes wonder, how can I use that ability that I have and get a full-time job? So I guess for the counselors on this call and for students, creatives can work full-time, making a living using that side of themselves. So tell us just about that early thinking when you like, I love music, but that promotion word, how did you know that promotion was even something you wanted to do?
Yeah, I had a friend in high school who made music, and so we would, make music together, and I would, design covers for his mixtapes, and we would try to get them out there online and try to post them on social media, a very early version of social media 10 years ago, and really just try to gain a following there. So I knew that promoting things and telling stories and bringing products to market of sort is something that I was interested in, and I think at the time I thought of music as being what I wanted to do the most right there. But ultimately, what I've realized over time is just the wide range of different opportunities to work with different companies and different industries, that I could do that and make a living.
Yeah, and I love it because we met someone last week at a career chat who's a graphic designer. He's a creative director, but he also
Nice.
started with that early music and promoting his band. So I love it because you're demonstrating today how you can have those similar interests but take it very different ways. And I'll dig into that in a minute. But I wanted to point out about your internship, because young people often wonder, how do I get that internship? So is that something Grand Valley helped you with? Did you have to dig that lead up yourself? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So that internship, Grand Valley had some resources available to me. I remember talking to some advisors, to help really build out my resume, build out cover letters and resources to help me get to that point. But Grand Valley and any university will have a jobs board of sorts that will often have jobs that the university offers, whether that's in kind of the food service industry or working at the bookstore. But they'll also have a space for employers to post things. I help manage our intern program, and I know that we do a lot with the different universities, as well as posting these things to LinkedIn and really doing a lot of self promotion there. So it's a mix of, yeah, looking at the resources available through your school, talking to your connections, and just using the different networks that are available to find internships and jobs.
Yeah, that's very helpful for young people who are figuring it out because they don't even realize those resources are there. So thank you, Jeremy, for that. One thing I wanted to point out, when you said you got that first big boy job, promoting skiing and golfing and all of that, that you ended up kind of doing some like, hey, this is somewhat good, but I'm getting bored. And I wanted to just pull out the fact that you took the initiative to start to talk to people. So I want young people to hear that in your story, that you were unsettled and you're like intentional. And
Yeah.
so let's talk about how you even started to find some of those people you were talking to, and how did you even end up talking to Lambert?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. And it's a time that I reflect on a lot in my career as I look back, because I I was kind of finding myself feeling a little stir crazy, feeling a little tired of things, and I think that's something that I really encourage to people is, you want to, jobs are jobs, but at the same time, like, it's best to be able to enjoy things and enjoy your time and have a good work life balance, which I think is a term that a lot of that has really come to prominence in the last few years. That, we really need to have a good balance between our work life and our real life, I guess. And yeah, so I really looked at my network. I looked at some of my professors who I had become close with in college, and connected with them just to see what opportunities were out there. Working in travel and tourism, I had a wide network, but it was a lot of the same people, a lot of travel and tourism people there as well, but still seeing, just connecting with whoever I could find and having those conversations, just putting feelers out, just, offering, hey, you would love to just hear what you do or what's on the horizon for your company, and just kind of getting an idea of the market out there. And then for Lambert, I really was just looking for a lot of different options. And when I started reading the description, I believe I found it on LinkedIn, and reviewing and seeing reading what I saw, I was just very impressed, and I knew it was something that I wanted. And I remember after that first interview, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want. And I have the ability to do this. And I don't want to have like imposter syndrome. So I'm just, I deserve this. This is for me, this is mine. And I'm gonna do everything I can in these next few interviews, and writing samples and writing tests and things to make it a reality. And so I was able to do that. And I'm very happy that it all worked out now.
Well, I think that's what I want to point out to students that are watching this or their school counselors is what I'm doing with Jeremy right now is that information review. I'm trying to model that you have to be, curious and ask questions. And I love that you just shared that, Jeremy. That's what you did. And the results you got from putting yourself out there, getting to know people, being intentional with doing those extra things to build your portfolios while you're there where you are. One thing that I noticed you said several times was super cool, because you love your work. You get to do so many, variety of things. And so that's an important piece of this all. When you talk about the agency versus some people who just do graphic design or just do photography, again, help us understand that idea of an agency and the different roles then that you get to work with, because you mentioned photographers and graphic designers, but what is that structure for creatives? I want them to know some of the other positions that are in there.
Yeah, I think that agencies are super interesting because we have people like me who focus on the storytelling aspects. We have people like my friend Michael, who I showed earlier, who he does a lot of editing, photography, video stuff. I just saw him actually walking out the door with all his camera stuff, going to take photos of something. We have graphic designers, web designers, really just so many different roles of creatives and storytellers here. And how we help the companies that we work with is we all work together. So I'm on a team, it's me as like the lead storyteller, and then I've got maybe Michael's taking photos for me, and my friend Abby's working on social media for this company, and we've got someone else, Kat's working on a website page. We're all working together for the same common goal. And I think that's super cool, just the amount of resources that we have. And as I said, doing cool things and creative things with my friends is super awesome here. And that's something that at my old job, I didn't have like the resources. I was the one who was taking photos, and I was the one who was updating websites and things. And here I really get to focus on what I like the most, what I care about the most, what I'm best at, and doing a lot of that storytelling. And that's something that I really value about working at an agency.
Yeah, because like you had mentioned, some of those different industries, auto, education, crisis management. So again, if a student has an interest in those areas, you can work specifically for a company in their PR department. Or how does that work?
Yeah, that's totally. If there's something that you want to do that you see, we have people who I know people who've said, I want to work at Domino's Pizza and do Domino's Pizza PR. I know someone that works there, and that's what they wanted to do, and that's what they do. I'd say coming to an agency and leaving an industry that I wasn't super passionate about, travel. I came here and I said, put me on any client, every client, any industry. I don't care. I want to learn all about it. And I remember being put on a car client that they made electric vehicles. And I don't know anything about cars. I know nothing about cars. I know I own a car and I drive a car, and that's it. And that's all I know about cars. And I remember just thinking like, oh, I don't really like this. So I don't work with auto clients anymore. I don't work with the car clients anymore. But I've worked with, consumer packaged goods, Moose Tracks ice cream. Like that's a super cool one. Some of the other snack, I've worked with some like candy clients that we've helped out. And I enjoy that. And I like working with schools and telling the stories of teachers and students who are really doing incredible work. And so I found a passion in that. And I think that agencies give you the opportunity to get a taste of everything, almost like a little buffet. I got the taste of automotive and I didn't really like it, but I got to, as a result, try other things that I really did like. So I don't think that, I think that going from an agency to in-house, working for one company is a lot of what people do here. I know people who have gone to work for Meyer after working, some of my colleagues, or I know someone who works at Xbox now who was worked here before. And like, these are people who grew their skills here and then went and took them elsewhere. And I think that's got to explore a lot of cool different things. So that's kind of a little bit of a difference.
No, that's great. And I was just talking with a young lady recently and she loves to travel. And I was telling her about PR and travel, like that's a thing. And you'll get to travel in your job and you'll get to help build their brand. And so if the student's interested in PR, Jeremy, looking back, is there something else you might have done in high school to prepare for yourself? Are there any other activities that maybe you'd like to recommend for besides building some content over their own portfolio?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, and I say this to students all the time, and I bring this up because this is true. I wasn't in any clubs or organizations in college, and I think that's something that's very important. I didn't value it at the time, but everyone I talk to now, I'm like, yeah, go join. There's it's called Public Relations Student Society of America, PRSSA, or Grand Valley has Grand PR, which is a student-run PR agency that they have clients, they do real work. There's a lot of different organizations that you can be a part of, and I highly recommend that. As someone who didn't do it, I came out on the other side all right. I'd say good. I'd say better than all right, but your life can be a lot easier and you can make a lot more quality connections as a result of working with different organizations and being a part of these different things. I highly recommend that.
Yeah, because that networking that you would have done in those would have been part of connecting with more people. So yeah, landed out, it was fine for you, but yes, not a bad idea at all.
Yeah.
So as we finish up, we did talk, we in the schools talk about teamwork and cooperation and those soft skills, and you've mentioned quite a bit of that. I guess before I have you give your final word of wisdom in this last minute, help students understand why that's so important to be doing those things.
Yeah, that's just the real world. That's just the work world. Is you're going to be working on teams. You're going to be working on your own independently. That's the world that you're going to go out into. And so the more you can be a self-sufficient person, the more and at the same time, the more you can be like a great teammate. These are important skills in the workplace. You have to do those. That's just like super important. So yeah, they're very, very imperative to be able to do any job.
Yeah,
I'd say
it's great to hear just the way you are a team. So you've been great. What a great role model you've been, Jeremy. As we finish up, what kind of just word of wisdom do you want to give to these young people, and even their school counselors are on the Zoom today?
Yeah. I first of all, I'll just say thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, but yeah, I'd say just continue to stay curious, stay interested, grow yourself, whether you're in the classroom, but also outside the classroom. I think that continuous growth, continuous learning is extremely important. So I'm all about that. Go out, read, write on your own, do, keep practicing and honing your craft.
Awesome. Thank you so much today, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with everyone.